This is how you know Trump smells victory. And the writer says, I'm used to Donald Trump being painfully loud, proudly obnoxious, and, well, sort of bonkers. I'm used to alligators on the border Trump, sharks in the water Trump, Hannibal Lecter Trump. I'm not used to the Trump of the past 2 weeks, who has held back almost as much as he has held forth, stripping the Republican Party platform of several extremist flourishes and distancing himself for now from the Heritage Foundation's designs for quasi-autocratic, demi-theocratic America. And this loosely hinged version of Trump scares me much, much more than the utterly unhinged one. It tells me that he understands what a turning point in June 27 debate was, realizing the virtue of stepping back while pundits pummel Biden and the Democratic Party reels and can sporadically muster the discipline to do so. He smells victory in November in a way he's never really smelled it before, and his nose is not off. As I said, it's terrifying. It also tells me that he, or at least some of his most influential advisors, are open-eyed about his vulnerabilities and about key constituencies and are focused on both. And what they did with the platform just before next week's Republican National Convention was soften its anti-abortion stance and tone down the homophobia. You suburban woman, you can safely park your votes here. It's a lie, but Trump is excellent at these. It's also a warning. Biden's theory of victory, as he dismisses qualms about his candidacy, lashes out at critics and puts his legacy and his nation's future in serious jeopardy, is that Trump's irrationality trumps any infirmity, and that as election day nears and voters start really paying attention, they'll get fresh glimpses of what an erratic, cruel, and ignorant despot Trump is. But what if Trump shows them something else? Puts on sheep's clothing, or at least a few fleecy tufts here and there. What does that do to Democrats' odds of keeping him out of the White House and America's democracy intact? I'm not sure Trump is capable of a costume change at this point, at least not a sustained one. He was hardly a subdued statesman at the rally in Florida on Tuesday when he savaged Biden's looks, Chris Christie's too, and mocked the casualties of drug addiction. His account of the debate went so far beyond boasting and gloating that we need a whole new vocabulary of self-adoration to describe it. Even CNN said, as I walked off the stage, that it was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. He told his supporters he's confusing himself with Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice, and Jake Tapper and Dana Bash with Oscar voters. He also claimed that the debut was one of the highest rated shows ever on the debate was highest rated ever shows on television. Note that the same galaxy as the truth, though I'm sure J.D. Vance sweetly whispered some nonsense like that in Trump's ear, only for Marco Rubio to muscle Vance aside and tell Trump that all the founding fathers combined lacked the political wisdom that radiated from his lectern that night. But Trump is relying on more than obscene hyperbole as he looks to Election Day. Any Democrat who does not realize and worry about that is criminally negligent. In Axios on Wednesday morning, Mike Allen and Jim Vandehee reported on Trump's personal Sharpie-armed edits of his party's platform, on his advisors' successful urging of him not to vow political retribution or launder the January 6 rioting during the debate, and on his and their micro-targeting of crucial groups of voters in pivotal states. In The Atlantic, later on Wednesday, Tim Alberta profiled two principal architects of Trump's presidential bid. Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita remarked on the work they'd done to eliminate the havoc and guesswork that defined Trump's previous two campaigns for the presidency. He wrote that they present a threat unlike anything Democrats encountered during the 2016 or 2020 elections. The article's headline, Trump is planning for a landslide win. There's Trump world strategy to match Trump's bluster, and that informs the doubts that many of us have experienced about Biden's ability to prevail. We're not carelessly and causelessly demeaning him, and we're certainly not equating his shortcomings with Trump's, not even close. We're making sure not to underestimate Trump, not with stakes this high. We're recognizing the possibility, maybe even the probability, of a Trump victory. And we're desperately rooting for a response from Democratic leaders that recognizes it as well. The polls are not misleading. It's not just pundits, but also voters who have apprehensions, deep ones, about Biden's fitness. Those misgivings reflect that what we call all apprehensions, deep ones about Biden's fitness, what we see with our own eyes and hear with our own ears. They can't simply be wished and spun away. They'll continue to command a degree of attention that rebounds to Trump's benefit. Trump, for his part, may use that distraction to regroup and to the very limited but potentially consequential extent possible, reintroduce himself to fitfully engage voters as someone who does not see a moat filled with reptiles as the answer to illegal immigration, whose real-world preoccupations don't mimic the real-world plots of Jaws and the Silence of the Lambs, who need not be flamboyant center of attention every single minute of every single hour of every single day. Of course, he's even worse and wackier than that, which is why Biden's and the Democratic Party's decisions over the coming days matter so immeasurably much. This is on DNYUZ. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.